Let's not waste any time. Let's bring in a FS1 contributor, Nick Wright, who I had lunch with yesterday. Can we hear it for Nick Wright, who cheered for Joe Buck?
Good to see you. Lunch was great. Thank you for that.
We talked about a lot of stuff, Kristine.
Did you? Where did you guys have lunch?
On the lot.
News Cafe.
Oh, at News.
Yeah. We talked about a lot of stuff.
Colin ate some salad that had, what was that, fennel in it?
Oh, yeah.
Something I've never tasted in my life.
Yeah.
Not soup or a sandwich?
No, I went salad. I went green yesterday.
Okay.
Trying to be healthy.
Yeah.
So, Nick Wright, you're nervous about the Warriors, too.
Oh, I just think they lessened their degree of their margin of error. Then now they upped their ceiling when you add Kevin Durant. But when you get rid of your entire front court, you now have to have Draymond Green totally locked in, totally healthy, and totally buying in. And that article that you keep referencing, the Ethan Sherwood-Strauss article, shows you a couple things. He was a Luke Walton guy, not a Steve Kerr guy.
Yes.
We already know Draymond's had about the worst 5-month stretch you can imagine. Let's go through it. He might have cost his team the finals by slapping at LeBron's genitals. And genitals are a key here.
Yeah.
He then slapped a college kid at Michigan State. He then showed the world his own genitals. He then played so poorly in the Olympics, they benched him. That ain't great. No. And so now that guy, who is the key to their defense, Bogut's gone, Azili's gone. Draymond is going to have to play center a lot more.
And for the record, he's not a center, so there will be nights he will get pushed around.
Absolutely right. And he is the guy that unlocks their ability to go small, and Durant steps in for Barnes, and they're unguardable. But without him, even if you're unguardable, you can't guard anybody. So it's volatile. And who is going to lose shots? This is the big question with the Durant stuff, because Barnes took 10 a game, Durant took 20. So there's a 10-shot deficit, right? Clay has already said, I ain't giving him up. Steph was the unanimous MVP. More on him in a moment. How was he going to give up 2 a game? Those shots are going to come from Draymond Green. Draymond averaged 3.5 three-point attempts a game when Luke Walton was coaching the beginning of the year. That dropped to less than 1 right when Kerr got there, or right when Kerr got back. That's part of the push and pull there. Is Draymond, who's been second in the league in Defensive Player of the Year 2 years in a row, who caught a lot of crap this offseason, very deservedly so, is Draymond, after being the best Warrior for Game 7 of the Finals, going to be okay with being the 4th guy on this team and being the guy who he's asked to do all the things that are hard and don't have any glory attached to him?
Yep.
If he is okay with it and he stays healthy,
they're fine.
They're more than fine. They're going to be outstanding. But there's one other piece to this. We know he's the emotional leader of the team.
Yeah.
We know that he's the fiery locker room presence.
Yeah.
We also know this. It is literally impossible that they start better than they did last year.
That's right.
They were 24-0. They were, I think, 39-4. So if this team, the Heat started 10-11. Let's say this team starts 10-4. Like, that's not bad. You might still be first in your division. But if you're 10-4, you don't think there's guys in that locker room, maybe Draymond saying, why'd we change things? Why'd we do any of this? We got, like, that doubt can start to creep in.
Well, not only that, but he may go in with some cynicism to begin with. I think the thing you point to is very interesting. I also think the Warriors have now become very easy to game plan against. Get Draymond in foul trouble.
Oh, that's interesting.
Because every coach in the league is going to be like, Draymond's their big?
Well, and it's not only because they have Zaza Pachulia, but he can't play, and David West is 3 years past when he could play. It's not, and I don't think it's just get Draymond in foul trouble. What you see other teams do to Odell Beckham Jr., you don't think they're going to do that to Draymond Green?
Of course they are. Getting his
You
head.
don't think everyone's going to try to step over him like LeBron did? You don't think everyone's going to give him the little extra push? Because he has part of what makes him great is his emotion, but he has never shown the ability to control it. If you can't control it when you are a game away from a consecutive championship in a game you're blowing out the Cavs, you can't control it. You slap at LeBron. You're not going to be able to control it when Giannis Antetokounmpo on a Tuesday night in Milwaukee keeps getting in your face. Like, And that's got to be the game plan. So I'm not chicken littling the Warriors. I'm saying the sky is falling. I'm saying Draymond Green, outside of LeBron, is the most indispensable player in the league right now for his team, and he's a volatile guy.
Steph Curry.
That's the other interesting part.
Unanimous MVP to, according to a survey among GMs,
right.
Not the best player on his team.
Okay, so that GM survey is interesting. You focused yesterday on who would you start a team with, and Karl Anthony Towns won, which is silly. It's people love youth and, future stuff rather than I take LeBron right now. What was the most interesting part of that is 30 GMs. One GM voted for Steph.
One. Unanimous MVP.
The back-to-back MVP, unanimous last year. 30 GMs voted. You had 13 of them say he's not the best point guard in the league.
That's right.
And now there's real questions. Is he the best player on his team? And now, listen, maybe Steph is Mr. Humble, Mr. I just care about the team winning. But when you're great, it's hard to be as great as he is at his size and not inside think, man, I'm awesome. I'm amazing. I'm the best. I mean, that's part of what makes you great, especially when you're that size. That is a tough transformation when headed into the playoffs, the general consensus was this is the best player in the world, the best shooter ever. He's solved basketball. This team, the first ever unanimous MVP, to now real questions. Questions like, is he the best guy on his own team? Is he better than Chris Paul? Is he better than Russell Westbrook? And there was an interesting moment. I was talking before I went on the air about Kyrie is an interesting guy because when you make that shot, now all the pressure's off you the rest of your career. No one can ever call you a choker. No one can ever call you not clutch. Yeah. The opposite could happen to Steph. Forget those MVPs. Where you been at in the finals, young man? And I'm not saying that's fair, but I know how the media works. Steph could be amazing this regular season. Amazing. And people are going to be saying, show me in the finals.
Yep.
Show me in the finals.
No question.
Right.
Durant and Westbrook's relationship.
Yeah, you don't like the style of play Westbrook has.
I think it's exciting and riveting and highlight-centric.
Yeah.
I don't think it wins titles.
Okay. I mean,
Coming around on that? I see a weakness?
I think it's very, very hard to win titles, and I think that the Thunder last year, if we replay last season 10 times, the Thunder win one or two of them. So, it can win titles. If he's the only guy, Allen Iverson, who you bring up, he was the only guy. What I do think is interesting is that we, in the media for a long time, had decided Durant's the good guy, Russ is the bad guy. I don't know if that's right. Durant might be the more unselfish player, but Russ is the guy that signed the extension and stuck around. Russ is the guy that's saying, I'll stay here and build something. Durant's the guy that said, not only am I leaving, but on my way out the door, I'm not going to call Russ, and I'm going to take not-so-veiled shots at my teammates. That ain't great.
He's a little like the Bill Simmons of the NBA.
Oh, wow.
No, I like Bill, but I don't like when he takes shots.
Wow.
I've told you that, Kristine. I think Bill's above that.
Okay.
Yeah, I think Bill now regrets that.
Okay.
And I think Kevin will resent that.
Well,
you just got in the middle of that whole thing.
I think that this is, we saw Robert Griffin III get a tattoo of his girlfriend's name.
Bad.
I'm not anti-tattoo, but I'm anti-stupidity. And come on, man. That's like what a heartbroken 17-year-old does, not a grown man.
Yeah.
It's odd to me that Kevin Durant got two massive tattoos of other men's faces on his leg. That strikes me as someone that might be having a bit of a tough emotional offseason. I know we have 60 seconds. Can I just give the listeners one thing?
Yeah.
Listeners, viewers, MVP bets. Steph and Durant are ineligible. LeBron might win it, but likely going to coast. Russ is going to put up unbelievable stats, but his team might not be good enough. You got to be a top 3 seed. 2 guys to look at. James Harden. I know you hate his defense. Mike D'Antoni's not going to ask him to play defense. Yeah. He's going to be playing point guard. Him averaging 38 and 9 is in play. And I think LeBron's going to try to get Kyrie to win the MVP.
That's interesting.
I think LeBron's going to try to gas him up all year, say, you're the best point guard. You score 30 a game. I'm going to sit back. This is you. That way, when the finals come around, LeBron can look Kyrie in the eye and say, you're better than Steph. I'm better than Durant. They're not the favorites. Let's go kick their ass. So dark horse MVPs, James Harden, Kyrie Irving. I cannot believe the season's this close.
Okay, so like 20 seconds left. Your wife's not in town yet. How's the gambling going? Are you under control?
I appreciate you asking. I've been doing well. I had a nice by doing well, it doesn't mean I'm not gambling. I just won this weekend, and I'm going to Vegas tomorrow, so I'll let you know.
That's a terrible decision. That is.
You were just in Vegas 2 weeks ago.
We got to go. I'm going to talk to you.
We'll discuss it
Cancel
later.
that flight.